Hi, I'm here at the Quad Cinema on the red carpet with Melissa D. Gordon, and we're here at the premiere show, Life Inside Out.
What's going on, Shane?
Shane has decided to take this year off, right, honey?
What? When did this happen? What the hell for?
So he practices knitting. The more food they have to resist, the more people buy. That's the first thing they teach you at the Magical Memories Weekend seminar.
If selling stickers and fun scissors to my friends wasn't my idea of a living hell, I would jump right into your multi-level marketing dream. But it's just not me.
Whatever. Thanks, asshole. Way to help out.
We're just gonna reward this kind of behavior? What are we doing with him, Laura?
Everybody's sure that they know just who I am. What if one day I just suddenly got like tongue pierced or something that no one would ever see unless I wanted them to?
So you write songs?
Yeah, I do. Well, I used to. I quit for a really long time.
But you're back at it. It's never too late.
Ha! Hi, I'm Laura Shaw. I called for a spot.
Does your guitar have a pickup? Okay.
I am never gonna do that again.
I don't get it. I mean, you tell me not to quit things.
You quit soccer?
But I don't love soccer, Mom.
Okay, so like Faith Hill's just gonna come into the Safeway one day and say, "Hey, hi, how you doing? Want to write a song for me?" I mean, who's gonna want to listen to a song
Written by me?
You have something to say, Laura.
Let's take it slow. Let's make it last.
YouTube.
And call me when you find yourself, and I'll tell you what you want. Yeah, there is no place I'd rather be than right next to you, my dear. This is not the only way. It won't always be so unclear. No.
I mean, it's your song.
That's good.
Beautiful, beautiful movie. The actors were very good. I mean, I'm so touched by it that I have some difficulties even to talk because I'm still emotional about it.
And first up is Tessa Bell. I loved the film. I thought it was great. How did you, what inspired you?
Well, Maggie, who wrote the film, co-wrote the film, is a kind of a cousin. There's a little bit of nepotism, but we met, we've known each other for a long, long time because she's a member of the family. And when I moved out to Los Angeles, she helped me I slept on her couch and my daughter slept on her couch, and they opened their arms to us. So about 2 years later, she came to me and said, "Would you please produce this movie? And by the way, I can't pay you anything." It's like, yeah, okay. So it wasn't more of an inspiration. It was just it's a family affair, and also actually the storyline is very similar to some of the choices that we made with our daughter, because I was in the middle of a cabaret career, and my daughter started doing some cabaret with me when she was very young. We started doing acting classes together, and the head of the school that we were at, when she did the analysis, she said, "Look, you, Emma, are beautiful, and the camera loves you, and you absolutely will have a career. Don't worry about that." And then she turned to me and she goes, "You know, you're 40. And I'm not going to give you a job. I'm going to give that job to all the other women who are 40 who've been working for 20 years. So I kind of realized, well, maybe we need to shift gears and put the focus on Emma's career. And so we did. And now I'm a film producer, which is great.
How long have you been in the industry? Were you a television producer before you became a film producer?
Yeah, I worked at CBS Evening News and the 60 Minutes, and then when my kids were born, I created my own production company, and we did infomercials and that sort of thing that paid the bills. And it was my husband and I worked on that stuff, and I did a couple of children's films, and so I've been in the business for a long time. Yeah.
How did you get all this fabulous music, by the way?
Oh, okay. Well, all of the songs that Phineas plays are written by Phineas. All of the songs that Maggie sings are written by Maggie. The song that they do together at the piano, Phineas wrote when he was 13. So he's a good songwriter. He's a pretty talented kid. And then we did a competition, and we alongside the Kickstarter campaign, because to raise the first bundle of money, we did a Kickstarter campaign. We were very successful at that, and one of the things that we did alongside that was we had a music campaign, a music contest, and we sent it out to all around, and people started sending us their music. So it was wonderful, because every morning for about 6 weeks, I would go to the coffee shop, get myself a strong espresso, and then listen to all this great music from all these people who had sent us all this fabulous music. And I would respond to every single one of them, because my son's a musician, and I know how lonely it gets out there. And so every single person who submitted to this movie, I let them know that I'd listened to their music and what I liked about their music. And then the competition was, there was a vote thing that was happening, so I didn't have to choose anybody, and some votes, some stuff bubbled to the top. So we got some music that way. And then the musicians who are in the open mic, some of them are really good, right? Yeah. So Yogi Lonich, the guy with the hat, he happened to be a musician that Jill knew, and Jill, the director, knew, and she really loved his work. So she asked him, and she said, we're ultra low, there's nothing there for you. And he said, no, I'm in. So he was in. And then Steve McMahon, who starts out the second open mic, he's really handsome, really talented guy. I had seen him in Los Angeles at a private concert, and I'd been blown away by this guy. And after listening to him at the private concert, I was sitting there thinking, gosh, I wonder, oh, that's right, I'm the producer of a movie with an open mic. I could ask him if he'd view my movie. So I went up to him afterwards and I said, would you be interested in being in a little ultra low budget movie? And he's like, why, yes, ma'am, I sure would. And I said, great, where do you live? I figured he lived in Los Angeles because this is where we were. He said, well, I live in Tennessee. And I was like, oh, well, we don't actually have a budget to fly you from Tennessee, so I'm really sorry. I would love to have you in my movie, but I can't do it. So fast forward to when I'm looking for investment, and one of the guys that was helping me put together the money said to me, I have a friend who's probably would be interested in giving you some money if you put the guy that he loves, the musician that he loves, in your movie. And I thought, oh boy, okay, so who's the musician? Thinking it's his girlfriend or it's his son or it's, some kid who doesn't know what they're doing. And he said, Steve McMoran. And I said, what? I said, yes, we would love it. Well, here's the mistake I made. I should have said, oh, all right, we'll do it. Meanwhile, inside I'm like, yes. But I wasn't smart enough. So he was going to give me this much. Then when he found out I really wanted Steve, then I got like half of that. So, but we got Steve, and that way. And so there was a cute little story with that. And Xenia, who's the little girl that sings Hiding Places, she was on The Voice. And our director of photography, who did a really magnificent job. Visually, it's quite beautiful. He's one of the director of photography on The Voice, so he knows Xenia personally because he did all that shooting with Xenia on The Voice. So we got her from the director of photography, and so everything just sort of somehow came together with no money because we couldn't ever hire anybody for anything, So it was always, it had to be meant to be,
How long did it take you to actually, for post-production, pre-production and getting the whole production and everything, how long did it take?
Yeah. So we did some script rewrites, about 3 or 4 months worth of massaging on the script. Then it was 2 months for the Kickstarter campaign. Then we went into pre-production. We were in pre-production for about 8 weeks. Then we shot for 16 days. And so that's 6 months right there. And then it took almost a full year to finish the edit, to edit it, do the rough, and then show it around and take notes and recut and more notes and show it around and da-da-da. And meanwhile, we submitted to festivals and so forth. But so and then all the coloring and the sound and the Foley and the ADR and all that stuff. It took about a year, so a year and a half. And then we got into the festivals. and we started doing the festivals. We did the festivals for about a year, and we just finished our festival. We started our festival run in October of 13 and finished it in October 14. In October 14, we went to the Los Angeles. We had our Los Angeles theatrical premiere, and now our New York premiere. So it's been 3 years of nonstop.
Who is the editor again?
Well, actually, the editor of the movie is also the director of the movie, Jill Danienica, and the director of the movie has often said that it is the editor who saved the director, because this was her first time directing. And she did a fantastic job, but she really did a fantastic job of editing the movie. She did a good job of directing it, but she did a fantastic job of editing it. And because she was the editor, she could cut her own stuff. Like a lot of first-time directors, they are in love with every single moment, and it's a nightmare. Whereas because she is the editor, she was able to cut her own material, and that makes, you know, all the difference in the world.
How long did it take for the editing process?
It was a long time. You know, the first cut took maybe 2 months. Then after that, the second cut took another 3 months, and then we went into this period of like the final cut where, you know, there are things that I wanted to get rid of and that Maggie wanted to get rid of, and there's things that Jill didn't want to get rid of, and, you know, so it becomes this very, time sort of slows down and you really, really grind out the last few cuts, and then it was what it was, you know.
I enjoyed the cinematographer. What was his name?
So the cinematographer is Guido Frenzel, and he is on The Voice as one of the directors of photography there, and he did a fantastic job. And actually, he did more than a fantastic job because we had no money. We had absolutely no money for equipment or for, you know, any of that stuff. It was really, and yet he managed to get this movement, this feeling of intimacy and the lights, shades, and the colors. He did a fantastic job. He really did. I'm so impressed with his work. And it's funny because I watch other movies now, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of stale, you know?
What do you want to accomplish with this film?
Well, okay, so I really would love it if we could have more of a theatrical release, if we could find somebody who would sponsor us and help us to promote the film theatrically before we do a DVD release. That's what I would really, really like. Unfortunately, while it's a movie that has got good feeling and people laugh and people cry and people come to us and say, oh, this is my story, you told my story. Not just women. Like, guys love this movie because it treats them like real human beings. You know, they're flawed, but they're heroic at the same time. So I know it's a movie with appeal, but what it doesn't have is sexy appeal. Like, there's no bombs, there's no boobs, there's no, you know, it's just a classic, beautiful tale. And so it's hard to find the distributor who's willing to, because there's no, you know, there's no real hook, there's no transvestites, there's no incest, you know, it's not, but there's an audience, but it's hard to reach them and it's expensive. So it's just unfortunate. I wish that we would have a bigger theatrical release. This is what I'd like. But
I really enjoyed the film, and I'll tell you why. It was touching. That's what I enjoyed about it. I mean, I give it a 5-star, definitely, because I enjoyed it. I sat there, and I thought the pace was great of the movie. What I really liked is that it was a family movie, and it was good, and it was great, and I really, really loved it. I want more people to come out to see this film because it's like a must-see. I really believe it's a must-see film. So, like, it's a must-see film, exactly. So we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be coming back with the star of the show, Maggie Baird.